All right, we live. At least I think we are anyway. We'll see when the people start filing in. BP Hero Podcast, Season 8, Episode number 6. Going to tackle a couple of controversial topics tonight. Big one. What's up, Jason? Big one being... we got a couple things to talk about, but the big one's going to be what specs are good. Hey, Nick Ray, what's up, buddy? Nicholas Ray in the chat. Hope you're doing well, pal. So the Suncoast U-Triple-C WSL thing, yeah. So we're gonna tackle that one. That's kind of one of the ones that we're gonna brush over real quick. So I missed the date change thing. So what date did that change? Andrea checking in. What's up? Tony Binskin in the chat. What's up, pal? How you doing? Hope you're sleeveless wherever you are. I did finally get our league champion shirts, by the way. Need to get those distributed. I should say I got them, but they finally emailed me back. So they emailed me, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then I emailed them, and then the guy that handles that stuff was out of the office for 2 weeks. So it took him a minute to get back to me. Well, once he got back. But they are at Rainbow, ready to be picked up and then dispersed. What do I think about infielders wearing a mask? If they want to, 100% go for it. There's absolutely no harm or shame in doing that. Safety is the name of the game. Beard game is solid. Yeah, I actually need to knock this thing off. I just got out of that shower, so it's all fluffed up and happy looking. I'm about tired of it though. I gotta wear a beard guard at work. I work in a clean, sanitary environment, so I have to wear like this big beard guard on my face, and I would have to wear it no matter even if I had just like a regular goatee. But what gets me is like just the fluff of the beard like pushes it out. It's all uncomfortable. I don't like letting it get this long either. I'd always trim it in the garage, and it's just too damn hot to be doing that right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Tony's in long sleeves. Of course you're in long sleeves. It's 110 freaking degrees outside. So Jason says the WSL thing was effective immediately, then put out that it wasn't until October 2nd. What? Is this April Fool's Day? What is this? I'm assuming that's to not make everybody get new bats before world tournaments and stuff. Who knows? That's such a joke. But all they're doing, they're just piggybacking off of U-Trip is all they're doing. That's all everybody's going to do. I wouldn't be surprised to see NSA make the same moves. One Nation is just they're trying to do everything they can to hurt U-Trip, so they'll probably let you use them just to try and get you to play in their stuff. Expected Dex, what's up, buddy? Geo checking in. Yeah, Jason, that's what I figured is for Worlds. Geo says the beard game is approaching Grizzly level. Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. We're going to do something about it here in the next couple of days. Hopefully it cools off so I can handle that. It's like, if I do it in the garage so I don't make the mess in the house, and then, I always clean it up. But, if I'm sweating while I'm trying to do it, it's just going to be bad news. Matthew Clark, what's up, pal? Glad you made it. What was my baseball history? Nothing really. I got one offer at a JUCO school. I'd already decided I was going to go to work full time, and there was no turning back. I shouldn't say there was no turning back from that, but the offer that I had, I couldn't say no to. When it came to going to work right out of school, I was convinced that I wanted to go to work right out of high school, even though baseball was at the time. I was just forget it. I just want to get out of school so I can go to work. That's what I thought for the longest time, 15, 16 years old, because I was just having this conversation with my son tonight. I'd worked 60 hours a week when I was 16 years old just because I wanted the money. If I had time to be doing nothing, I had time to be working. And unfortunately, I've kind of taken that mindset into my adult life. Sometimes I'll work for no other reason than just to work, and it's not a healthy thing. And I try to work on balancing that a little bit. But I was convinced that I wanted to go to work, so I took the easy way out of high school, not taking like all the classes you needed to necessarily get like started in college. Like I didn't take any algebra classes, but I would do like what they called consumer math, which is basically like really simple math just to get you your high school credit for math. But I would get it done so fast, I would get an algebra book out and work on it. Just for something to do because the teacher was like, can't get on the computers, can't get your phone out, whatever. So I would just get an algebra book out and start doing algebra for no other reason than for something to do for the rest of the hour. Because by the time I realized I wanted to go to college and try and make something out of baseball, it was too late from a high school credit wise. I would have had to take a bunch of summer classes to even make myself eligible, and even all that considered, like I got one offer from a junior college like really late in the end of the summer. Like it wasn't even during the school year. I don't really know a lot of the circumstances. It was a school that I never even heard of. But yeah, I didn't play any college baseball or anything. I'm a dude. I wondered about that because I don't know that there's very many chicks checking into the podcast. But it's always hard. It's always hard when you get the names and you're not really sure. Because like my roots are from Sicily, so I get having a weird last name. My last name ends in a CH, and everybody says ch. Like no, the CH makes a K. It's like an Italian thing. But people don't quite understand that sometimes. Moberly League legend for baseball? Yeah, basically. Dane wants to know if I'm playing in the Jamestown Labor Day tournament. No, I've got a really good friend of mine getting married, and I have some obligations prior to that has to do with the wedding as well. He's getting married on a Sunday, and I have to do something for him on a Saturday. So between those 2 days being tied up, I could have made like part of the day Saturday and part of the day Sunday. It wasn't worth all that. So I just decided to kind of take the high road and just not play this year as much as I wanted to. Friends come first. So I thought about putting my neck out there and seeing if I could find somebody to like EH4 on Friday and possibly Monday if anybody makes it to Monday, just to try and get some swings in. So if anybody knows anybody that might be looking for an EH on a Friday and a Sunday, or Friday and a Monday, holla at your boy. Because I would still like to make my way over there at some point. I got to get in that booth and talk on that microphone. It's like a yearly thing I got to do now. So you're getting caught up with the chat here. The Motherload Tantrum out-hits One Piece, in my opinion. You know what? Oh, hopefully I didn't... Let me check this real quick. Turn this up. Oh, Jesus. So let's do this. You, out of the way. Looky here.
Melvin? Control 10 out of 10. Well, he's picking those up. He's a Tantrum 2-piece mother load, 27 ounce.
Can you guys hear okay?
You saw how good the 1-piece is. So let's see what's up with the 2-piece. Big thanks to... Big thanks to Brett Whelan for getting this to us. We can check it out for you guys. These are available at Big Hero Sports. Got us a good price there. I get you one going. So be sure to hit me up if you need one. Music compression on this thing was fresh on the wrapper. Ain't gonna lie, I messed up when I tested it in the wrapper. It didn't come out right, so I had to redo it. But here's the impression. Fresh on the wrapper, no swings on it. Hit the mixed bag of balls, mostly hard stuff, the occasional 52. Hit an absolute monster of a ball field here. Don't expect much home runs today. But we're going to do our best. What's up, mother truckers? BP Hero Podcast here. And coming at you today with 2023 Easton Tandem Mother Load. Big thanks to Brett Whelan for getting us this so we can check it out for you guys. They're available at BiggerSports.com. I was able to get him a really good price on this thing. And he's willing to let us do a review on it, so here we are swinging this thing. We're at Boonville High School in Boonville, Missouri, and hitting on the freaking polo grounds, basically. 320 in the left field corner, and then quickly shoots out to 330, 345 in the gap, 380 in center field. This is not going to be a home run derby video. I'm not a home run hitter. Brian and Kai, big strong boys, but you boys not. So if you're here for home runs, I guess go watch backwards. I don't know what to tell you. 85-degree day, and the air was stagnant. Actually, no wind for us.
Is the echo better now?
Why would we have something like that? Day we were hitting the polo grass. Hit the mixed bag of balls, mostly hard stuff. Double MZ and Pro-Ins, BP Rockets, that kind of thing. Handful of 52s mixed in there. Then as soon as rained in, we got our day started. It is a 27-ounce. It features Easton's Mother Load, which is a 1-ounce load. And did it feel true to weight? No, it did not. The Mother Load felt more like a half-ounce of the load. Outside of that, the bat felt fine. It was a two-piece with a composite handle, and it did have maybe a smidge more flex than we're used to having the typical Easton handles. 1.5-inch barrel, and it felt super soft.
What's up with that?
Probably a combo of a little bit of a softer barrel with this technology and the flexier handle, but the combo itself was super soft. Above average sweet spot for a 12.5-inch barrel, which we did kind of expect based on what the one-piece tantrum was like, and it had a super fast break-in and performed good early as well. And taking a quick look at this thing on the tester here, just showing it again in case you missed it in the intro, because I know some people don't sit through the intros. So right at 240 basically in the wrapper, and we got about 80 swings on this thing, maybe a little bit more. I know for a fact we didn't go over 100 swings, and it's coming in right at 230. So again, kind of what we expected based on what we saw out of the one piece. It's going to be super low and then be basically ready to fail after a couple of rounds of BP. But make no mistake, these are game-ready bats out of the wrapper. If you're playing somewhere that needs a test, I honestly don't even think you need to put any swings on them. There are some bats that will test low and still need a handful of swings just to get them woke up. I mean, this thing was piss and fire from swing one. So if you play somewhere that tests and you do want to use one of these, just peel the wrapper off and throw it in the bag or throw it in the bucket or whatever you do with your bats when you have them tested. This thing's ready to go the second you peel the wrapper off of it. So overall thoughts on this thing, and I'm just going to go ahead and get out in front of this now. This is not as good as a one-piece tantrum. I think the one-piece bats are going to be kind of the way for a while, especially in the 240 space. I discussed that in a recent podcast that you can catch on the channel here. I'm not going to get too far into that in this video, but I do think it's just a one-piece over two-piece thing right now. But the big thing that everybody wants to know when they're asking, does this bat compare to the one-piece tantrum? Does that bat compare to the one-piece tantrum? It's not so much that the one-piece tantrum outperformed everything. It's the ability to consistently perform. This bat was still able to consistently perform well, but the one-piece tantrum was just different in the regard of being able to just hit every single ball hard, no matter what kind of swing you put on it. If you could reach it, you could find a way to hit it hard. You still had to earn a hit with this thing, but this is definitely going to be one of the better bats on the market right now. Easton has came a long ways. They finally got their 240 stuff dialed in here. Now it is kind of disappointing to see that they do fail compression really, really fast, and they're not seeming to hold up as far as compression goes. I haven't seen a ton of durability problems though. So it's definitely just a matter of they've decided to basically play the game of breathe on it and it fails compression because there's other companies getting away with it, so why can't they? So don't mistake me when I say that this isn't as good as the one-piece tantrum. There's not very many bats on the market right now that are just as good as the one-piece tantrum. But this is definitely a top-tier bat. It's kind of cool to see the Easton is back in the game here with the tantrum line. And I do wish that we weren't hitting on the biggest field in the freaking state to be able to kind of showcase that a little bit, because nobody had a problem hitting the ball over 300 feet. Really felt like this thing was a good performer, even though the field didn't do it justice. That's all I got for this one, though, guys. Thanks for stopping in and checking out the video. Big thanks to Brett for making this video possible. Big thanks to Headbanger Sports for getting us a good price on this so we can check it out for you guys. Be sure to hit me up if you want one of these, or you can go to the link in the description below, and there's also a discount code there you can use, however you want to do it. or you can also reach out to me and I can get you going with one as well. And big thanks to Makai for coming out and hitting with us as well. It's always nice to have some extra hitters around, especially one that can hit a ball like he can with all his little muscles. Out here making us all look bad and stuff. Big thanks to Brian for throwing in biscuits. Somebody's got an armful of them. If you don't believe me, just watch every video. Thanks to you guys for stopping in and checking out the video. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero, catch you next time.
Lip of the grass, baby.
All right, so I figured out what the issue was. I bet I sound a lot better here now, too, don't I? Okay. Back in business here. Okay, let me get caught up with the chat here, and then we're going to dive into today's topics. So yeah, I don't know. He was talking about the mother load and all that stuff. It's like, you know what? Let's just watch the mother load video real quick. I remember when we used to do that. We would watch like the next upcoming video at the end of the podcast. But I was like, yeah, heck, let's do it right now. So if you didn't catch in the video there, Matthew. The two-piece tantrum is the two-piece stuff is good too. I still think the one-piece is good, is better. We'll discuss that as kind of the hot topic of the podcast here today. And I know that everybody's going to think this is like a coincidental thing with the release that was made today with Headbanger. But well, like I said, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's see. See, it's good to clear that up. Yeah. What does my family... That's a good question. What does my family think of my softball success? So, I mean, and it's not to sound like negative or anything else, but I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not sure that my mom and dad really care. I mean, I'm sure that, like, you know, they think it's cool that, like, I have like this YouTube thing and all this stuff, because this is what I would consider the successful side of softball for me. I mean, I've won like, you know, at my fair share of tournaments. Have there been sanctioned tournaments, and have there been like big, huge world tournaments? No. I've got a couple of state title rings, and I got a NSA Super Worlds. So, you know, I got a little bit of stuff going, but as far as, you know, being an accomplished, like, oh yeah, we're 3-time world champions, or I've won state titles 19 times now. I would definitely consider this more of my success when it comes to the softball side of things. And I mean, my parents we've never really even had the conversation. Like, they think it's cool, but outside of that, like, we don't really talk about it. They don't come to my games or nothing like that. I know some people have their parents come to their games, but mine don't really do that. And I don't expect them to. I don't ask them to. It's just kind of a hobby to me. You know, they treat it as such. I'm also big into cars and stuff too. If it wasn't for, that's a post I'm going to make on the Facebook page, so be sure you're ready for that. If it wasn't for softball, I would probably be this deep into cars. I don't know about YouTube and stuff like that, but my hobby and my interest would be 100% geared towards cars if it wasn't for the softball stuff. What up? Nope, she ain't having it. So let's see. Don't even start with the Jesse's Girl stuff, Hayden. Or Hayden. I read Hayden somewhere else on my screen, and the first thing that came out, Jason. Talk about Jesse's Girl stuff. Don't even start. How long is the Jamestown tournament? Starts Friday night, ends Monday evening. It's wild. What's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy? The Easton Fireflex and the 240 Sisterhood of Fire. I haven't swung those. Your reviews are the best. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. The echo is strong. So I figured out Q knows exactly what was going on with the echo. So my webcam has got a microphone built into it. And if I don't leave this microphone plugged in, it always defaults back to the webcam. And it drives me absolutely insane. So, and the speakers that I'm using for this whole setup I've got going here, I've got 2 monitors, then I've got a 50-inch TV above my head. And I always just use the speakers on the TV. So the speakers were just like playing straight down into the microphone. Oh, I've been corrected. It's a 40-inch TV. And I won't let her get a bigger one. Size matters. Let's see. Dude, Gio, that's actually a good idea. A team called the Mother Truckers. Instead of like being GTWF everywhere we go, we could just be the Mother Truckers. No, we're not going to be. I just hope both teams have fun. That's Scott's team. Probably late to this, but I love the Integrity 2s. Mad at myself I didn't get an Indian 1 or 2. Yeah, so the Integrity 2 was definitely good. Are you needing to come through here, Emily? Why was that such a delayed response? I don't either. Do you want me to hide the webcam so you can walk through fully clothed? What? Nobody look. She's got all her clothes on. Watch my focus be messed up for the rest of the podcast now. Yeah, the Integrity 2s just needed the absolute crap beat out of them, but they did get good. But I definitely still think the NDM series is definitely the play for a Pure 240. What's up, Albert? How you doing, buddy? I'm doing well. Hope you are as well. So this was Easton's answer to their 240s hitting like pillows the last 2 years, make a bat barely. So yeah, yeah. I mean, there's other companies that have definitely defaulted to just breathe on them and they'll fail compression because it doesn't really seem to matter. As long as Juno's getting away with it, then everybody else can too. And that's the God's honest truth. And I don't care who says what about it. As long as Juno's getting away with it, because they are, in my opinion, the worst when it comes to holding compression or staying above 240 or failing compression fast. This new tech has obviously changed a little bit, but as long as those Junos are still legal, then nobody can say a freaking word because those are by far the worst. They spin 50 swings above 240 and then spin 1,000 at 160. It's insane. What was the point of a stamp change if you're going to allow stuff like that in? Am I selling the Monster Banger? That's a question for Jason, actually. There is some more monsters that just released on the website today, though. I'm trying to like break up the releases a little bit, but they did release the King of Diamonds as well, which is probably just going to be another Torch. What would it be? Torch Fallout variant, I would assume. What else do I take on the Proton ASA? It's just a monster with an FIB. Yeah, to my understanding, they're literally just monsters with a Proton paint job. Charles Darling was supposed to be sending one, I believe, and I haven't heard anything else about it. He was supposed to be sending the 2P Series 2, and I never really heard much about that either. We had a conversation about it, but I don't bother him or companies like that. I probably should. I should probably like try and, shake some more trees and see what falls on the ground so I can pick it up. But I don't know. I'm obviously not a shy person. I just don't, to me, like there's other people, like it's weird because like if somebody else was to reach out on my behalf and be like, yo, why don't you send one of these bats? Be like, yeah, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. But if I have to initiate that conversation, I feel like I'm begging. And it's not. I know I'm not because I'm reaching out to them, especially when it comes to Charles. We've talked on the phone. We've exchanged text messages. There's an open working relationship there because he's sent me messages and stuff about some reviews that I've posted, So I mean, we communicate, but yeah. So he was supposed to send the 2P Series 2, which I've already got that done as well. We're not going to watch that tonight. We'll save that for the next podcast. It hasn't been up already. And then one of the ASA bats, and I haven't seen anything yet. I hate to get one and then one show up. So, I'm just going to kind of let it be what it is. It's there. I'm holding absolutely nothing against him for that. He's a busy dude. He's got more people to worry about than some dude in Missouri that wants to hit the bat that he made. EJ, what's up, buddy? John says, in his opinion, Pure is creating the crop for fast compression and still hitting the snot of the ball. Yeah, Pure is probably, I'm going to be honest, Louisville's making a really good case. But in my opinion, Pure, it's Pure / Louisville, like they're right there 1 and 2, and then you got D. Murray, coming up behind them. Suncoast is kind of up in the air, I guess you could say. They hold compression, but they will get to the point of failing and then hang out down there for a while. But I don't. As much as I like the Suncoast stuff, they're one-piece bats. Again, we're going to get into that in a minute. The one-piece bats are, in my opinion, definitely better. but it's a hard push to sell those, or hard push to recommend those, because who knows, they could wake up tomorrow and decide to just ban them all. Batflip says he hit over there tomorrow and drop some hints. Yeah, if you want to, that's fine. If you don't, I completely understand. Dane says he's doing God's work. Oh, and by the way, if you are watching this, you're not subscribed to my guy Batflip BP, or my guy Fat Guy BP, or my guy Big Ben BP, and I'm sure I'm missing some others, so please don't hate me. But what are you doing with your life? The Mike and Riley is pretty nasty. Seems to hold compression really well. That's another one. See, and that's a bat that I could see lasting quite a while and still holding compression as well. I'd like to get like 400 or 500 swings on one and then see what it's like compression-wise. Have I got a chance to swing the Proton Smith? No. The only Protons I've swung this year have been the 1P Series 2 and the 2P Series 2. That's it. The 2-piece Series 2 and the senior models are stupid hot. So I know the senior that I hit a couple of years ago was pretty good. Maybe not quite up to Suncoast level, but not far behind it. I mean, it was definitely crapping on the ball, but it wasn't very far behind it at all. But yeah, the Series 2 240 was definitely a performer. I just wish that the game standard with a stiffer handle. Yes, I did forget average deuce softball. I'm slacking. Like I said, I knew I'd forget somebody. I don't talk to him a bunch, and there's no reason why. We just don't. Me and him don't communicate. I usually communicate with the three of them, so it's just what came to my head first. I have absolutely nothing against Drew or his channel or anything else. He's cranking out reviews just like the rest of us. Just kind of slipped my mind. All right, so let's get into this thing. Can everybody still hear me okay, by the way? I have this weird paranoia thing where if my audio doesn't peak at the right times or the right way on my screen, that I feel like my microphone's not very loud. But let's see, the Suncoast have the best senior bats out right now. Yeah, to me, it's probably going to be Suncoast and Dudley. I feel like are a solid 1 and 2. I know Anarchy's been cranking out some senior stuff. Pierre just came out with a senior bat that's going to be dropping soon. I'm looking forward to possibly getting my hands on one of those to review. So, Lima Charlie, man, I don't know what that means. I know it's military talk. Somebody's going to have to translate for me. Can we Google Translate? Oh, okay, loud and clear. There we go. Thank you for clarifying. I'm going to have to remember that. Lima Charlie. All right, so let's get on with it with what we're here for. I've been sitting here rambling for almost half an hour now. We still haven't covered a single thing yet. So, title of the podcast, Are One-Piece Bats Making a Comeback? Hot take here, and probably going to be a little bit unpopular, but I think one-piece bats are going to be the wave. And I think going with that is going to be, when it comes to the 240s, I gotta minimize this chat so I don't get distracted. So when it comes to, it's too bright. I'll just choose to ignore it. So when it comes to the 240s, I've kind of had the feeling from the get-go, and the more time goes on, I definitely still feel this way, unless it's something like a Juno where the barrel is essentially just a 220 barrel. I feel like that's why people started getting so light with the bats that they were swinging, was when we were hitting 220s, dude, bats were just disgusting. You had Easton's testing 160. You had Mikens and Worth's testing 200. You had, all these other brands. Basically, every brand had a bat that would come down in compression and then get below 200 and live there, or below or around, I'll say, 200 and live there. So you didn't need the mass of the bat to work for you because the barrel was just ridiculous. So it's just like reach out and touch it. These guys swinging 24-ounce bats became a thing, and I'm pretty sure they still are. You got 24s, you got 25s. Everybody's swinging 25s and 26s. You got a dude that's 6'6", 300 pounds, swinging a 25-ounce bat because he thinks he needs the bat speed. In reality, just the barrel on the bat that you're swinging is just insane. So it doesn't matter what weight the bat is. It's just going to crush the ball. I feel like there's a couple of different things here with the 240s that make a big difference. And to me, the big one is one-piece bats. there's obviously a science behind it. I remember Don Cooper saying years ago when he was up in the booth at one of the major World Series, essentially saying that a one-piece bat, all variables the same, should always perform. He said test a little bit higher. He meant perform better in a testing environment where all variables are the same. A one-piece bat will be better. And that's not saying that people can't still prefer two pieces, and that's not saying that two-piece bats still aren't good. But I think that one-piece bats are really going to make a push here. And like I said, it goes hand in hand with the 240s. We have definitely concluded, this is just Brian and I's opinions. Everybody's entitled to their own, and that's why we're all here, and that's why we do these reviews. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100% right or it's facts or, I have no science to back this up other than swinging a shitload of bats and just telling you that I feel like the lighter they are, just unless it's some ridiculous test and barrel, they just don't hit as well. And that's, I understand that I prefer one-piece bats, so I'm sure that's going to be like a big message of, oh, you just prefer one-piece bats, so that's what you think is better. And combined with the fact that Headbanger just came out with a Louisville exclusive one-piece today, which is nuts, by the way. You should get one. So I'm sure there's like propaganda that like says, yes, he prefers one pieces. That's why he's saying that. I get it. But when it comes down to the science of it, assuming all of that stuff still holds true, because I don't know why it wouldn't, because you can even still have a one piece with a flexi handle too. The original, going back clear back to the original Pure Integrity, the handle on those things was even flexier than some two-piece bats. In the Combat Avarice is another one. Dennis, if you're in here, is another one that had a really flexy handle for being a one-piece bat. So it's not so much like a really stiff handle as much as it is. I just feel like the one-piece bats, whether it be the connection soaking up some of the energy, whether it be the one-piece bat directly transferring the energy through the ball more, whatever variables are at play there, I can't tell you because I don't engineer bats. But I can tell you that I think one-piece bats are going to be the wave here. So we had the Suncoast one-piece, which was number 2 on the channel for the year that it came out. You got the Pure Integrity. You got the Pure 5th Anniversary Integrity. You got the NDM ones. You got the Proton one-piece. You got the Louisville one-piece. You got the Easton Tantrum. And I'm sure I'm leaving some out too, but I feel like all of those bats have been like top tier. I can't think of a one-piece bat that I've swung and been like, man, I hate this thing. And again, maybe some of that's preference, or maybe some of that is like there's something to that. I know we had the discussion earlier about the Pure Integrity 2, which turns out it just needed a lot of swings to get going. But I really feel like there's something to the one-piece bats, and they got to be heavier. With the 240 stuff, they just got to be heavier. I understand that the barrels they have gotten significantly better since the stamp change. Since the initial stamp change, every company's bats have gotten progressively better to maybe where that might not be as much of a thing now, but it definitely still is in my opinion, because we'll be messing around in BP and pick up a 220 every now and then. It's like, God, these things are ridiculous. Like, we used to be able to swing these. It's kind of what I think sometimes when I swing them, because you still have to earn a hit with a 240, with a passing compression 240. You still have to earn your hits. You still have to I won't say make the barrel work, but you definitely have to live on the barrel. So you don't have something that's as forgiving. You don't have something that's testing so low in compression. So you got to have the mass behind it to get it to move. If you go out and you try and find a DeMarini corn dog, which we're going to use that as an example here, it's just a composite handle with a wooden barrel. They don't make them in lightweights. They don't make them in 24, 25 ounce. Like, I think somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the lightest one you can get is like a 26, and even then those still run heavy, but they don't make them that light for a reason. And like, I think we need to kind of apply that theory here to a bat performing in general. I know everybody's saying king bat speed and this and that, whatever else, but I'm telling you, if you had to swing in your bat, your 25 ounce bat that's testing 160, if you take that 25 ounce bat and you get the same one and it's testing 260, and then get the same exact bat in a 27, you'll swing the 27 over the 25. You'll see the difference in the performance. It's the weight thing is there. Weight has always been a thing, and weight really plays a factor in these 240s. And like I said, the more time has gone on, it might be becoming less of a thing. But I'm telling you, I think the one-piece bats are fitting to make a big comeback. I think we're going to see more and more of those, and we're going to see them performing very well. And I encourage people to try a heavier bat. If you're swinging a 24, 25-ounce bat and you're raking, dude, hell yeah, I'm glad for you. But most of the people that swing them say it's too heavy. I can't control it. I can't do anything with it. But have you tried? Other than putting 10 swings on it, putting it back down, I encourage you to pick one up and swing it for a month. And if you're like, all right, this ain't it, then you know. But you can't conclude your thoughts after 10 swings with something and putting it down. That's why we don't swing a bat 10 times for a review and put it back down. Spend some time with it. Kind of get to know it. That's why I really enjoy doing full reviews of bats, is simply from the standpoint of you really get to get familiar with the bat. You get to know the bat. Some reviews don't need that many swings, but some do. If it's something you need to get a better read on, or that kind of thing. Or like when we did the tantrum, words are hard. Snacks specifically asked us to just kind of throw the kitchen sink at it and see what it's about. Turns out it didn't need the kitchen sink thrown at it, but it's always good to get all the way through a review like that. And I think that's also a good example as well of something that I do feel like that bat had a little bit of a flexy handle to it for being a one-piece. Obviously not like we're not talking DeMarini juggy type flexy, but it was definitely a lot less rigid than like something like a Wegman. When I picked that bat up, I was expecting like Wegman. I understand that it was a little bit of a bigger barrel, but I expected like a really stiff handle with a responsive barrel, and that thing was just buttery soft in my opinion. But I think that was a combination of a little bit of more forgiveness in the handle as well as the barrel. But at the end of the day, it's still a one-piece bat. Every one-piece bat that we have seen come out has been pretty damn good. I understand that Suncoast is up in the air, and I said earlier that I'm not going to recommend a lot of those anymore just because you don't know what's going to happen to them. But if you're in the market and you are willing to take that risk, a one-piece Suncoast is a great bat. I mean, those things are nasty. The ruckuses are nasty. I do believe that headbangersports.com doesn't have any more of the inloads in stock, but I do know there's still balanced ones. And even kind of looking at some of the senior stuff too. You see a lot of seniors are swinging one-piece bats. There's a lot more one-piece bats out there. And maybe the one-piece thing, like I said, is just a preference, and a lot of people don't like two-piece or don't like one-piece bats because they don't like the feedback or the feel or anything like that, and that's completely understandable. But if you're looking for every last bit of performance that you can get out of something, then I do truly think that a one-piece is the play. We have seen more and more of these bats coming out that are good, and I kind of got to thinking tonight, maybe that's why I've been stuck on this Louisville train for a while, is they are two-piece bats, yes, but they have a very, very rigid feeling connection to them. Those bats don't flex, they don't wobble, they don't move. It's their connection and their handles are pretty damn rigid. So maybe that's why I get so sucked into the Louisville stuff sometimes, is their handles are so stiff. And it's not like I don't think I swing hard enough to make the handle flex, or I've seen people say that they swing too hard for a two-piece bat, or they could swing a DeMarini juggy because they swing too hard in the handle. You know what? Maybe that is the thing. I don't know. I don't believe any of that. I think it honestly it just comes down to preference. To a certain extent, I know we just had the discussion about what Don Cooper said, and kind of holding some of my theory on that, but I'm talking ultimate got to have the most out of performance. The one piece is the play. Now, obviously, there's bajillion two-piece bats on the market. They don't even, a lot of companies even quit making one-piece bats for a while. So obviously, there's something to the two-piece bats still perform well, right? I mean, hell, I've theoretically gaming a two-piece bat right now, even if it's a Louisville. But even the Pures, when the Pures hit, I've been swinging an Indy M2, messed around with an Indy M3 for a while. I swung a Freak 30 for years. Two-piece bats are still gas. But I feel like one-piece bats in the 240 space where we got to make the barrel work is the wave right now. I really do. And maybe somebody else can help me with some other options. Maybe I'm just missing a few. But, you got the pure NDM1. You got the 5th anniversary integrity. You got the One Piece Louisville that just came out today, which is freaking gas, and you should get one. You've got the Suncoast Ruckus. You've got the Proton. I mean, you got a few different options there. I won't say a ton because there's still not a lot of companies make them because people don't want them. Like, even I've been talking with a bat company and, trying to encourage them to make a one-piece bat for some ASA stuff. I think it's the play there too. I really do. Even though everybody and their brother swings a 2-piece bat, I still think the one-piece is the jam. And, maybe a tinfoil hat theory, I don't know, but I do feel like as far as things right now are going, one-piece bats are going to be the wave moving forward. I just had to get that off my chest. I've been kind of thinking on that for a while and kind of stewing on it and thinking, do I even want to put that out there? Do I even want to kind of make myself sound foolish? But dude, I don't care. I have no dignity left. Off the field, off camera, on the field, on camera, I have none left. So I'm just going to put it out there. I do think the one-piece bats are... I forgot about Anarchy. Anarchy's got some one-piece U-trip bats. And again, I loved their one-piece bats. I always forget about Anarchy because we don't really mess with them due to conflict of interest, we'll say. So that's another one that I don't really mess with a ton, but I can tell you that the one-piece bats that we did swing, nasty. I really think there's something to one-piece bats in the 240 space, and especially the heavier ones. One piece in ASA would definitely work as well. Yeah, it would work, but you got to get people to buy them. I think that's why so many companies are hesitant to make one-piece bats right now, is simply for the fact that they're worried they're not going to sell. And trust me, I get it. We review a ton of 2-piece bats. Like I said, I gamed 2-piece bats for a long time. But if it was up to me, if I had, excuse me, if I had, I won't say unlimited money, but if I didn't care about how much money I spent on a bat and anything else, I would probably be gaming a 5th anniversary integrity, but I'm just a cheap ass and I don't want to pay for one. Bat companies have been gracious enough to send me stuff to try out and let me hang on to it. So I'll find something that I like, and I'm going to find something that I'm going to swing. And right now that's the Iron Man Genesis, because your boy's still stuck on this balance stuff. And yes, to touch on that a little bit, as far as what specs are truly the best, we're thinking like 27, 28 ounce. And I feel like the only reason they quit making 28s is because people quit buying them, because they think bat speed is the play. It's a control thing, whatever. But like I said, I encourage you to swing a bat at least an ounce heavier than what you're normally swinging right now and see what it does for you. See what it does for your game. And I'm not talking 10 swings in BP. I'm talking for a month. Or if you don't play very much, give it a while. But I can tell you that this is my personal opinion and feeling. Swing something heavier for a while, and you'll see what it can do for you. If you're looking to get some more distance, if you're looking to hit them, even if you're not looking to be a home run hitter, you're just looking to hit a ball harder on a more consistent basis, give yourself time to get used to a heavier bat, and I promise you it will pay off. Now, I started down the road, and I got sidetracked, but, as far as what specs are truly the best, yes, I do think inloads are definitely the play, definitely a big thing in the 240 space as well. So I think the one-piece inloads are going to be your top-tier bats right now. I really do think that. And, like I said, the exception is going to be stuff that performs well anyway. The Louisville stuff, they've obviously got something figured out there, because I've been an inload guy for years. Couldn't tell you the last time that I swung a balance bat in a game and fully was confident in the fact that I was okay swinging a balance bat, because most of the time for me, it's I want to be able to hit a ball harder. I want to be able to drive a ball harder. And the Louisville still lets me do that. The Louisville still lets me drive a ball hard. It still lets me hit a ball far. I'll say far, not as far as an inload, but I can still get up and out of a ballpark when I need to, and I have the control to put it wherever I want all over the field. But I'm also not looking to hit every ball as hard as I can anymore. I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, it's time to be, done trying to undress people. Like I've gotten to the point where it doesn't matter how hard you hit a ball, somebody's going to feel it. Like I would like to try and get into sanctioned softball again next year, whether it be at the higher D level or somewhere in C. I would like to try and get into it, and I can tell you at the higher D level and play in C, sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you hit a ball. If you hit it at someone, it's going to get caught. And that's how I've kind of had that realization. So that's where the balancing is coming from. Like I still don't have a problem hitting the ball hard with a balanced bat. So I can hit it hard, and then if I can lose a little bit of exit velocity and then control where it goes, why wouldn't I? And that's not saying that's for everybody. Some people still control inloads really well, and maybe I could control a lighter inload a little bit better. I've been a 27 or 28 full ounce guy for years and made a living doing it. I say living, obviously I'm not playing softball for a living, but you know what I mean. I've been successful enough at the level that I play, swinging a 27 or 28 ounce with a big inload, but you just get tired of making hard outs sometimes. And I made my fair share of hard outs back then too. But this is the wave right now. Maybe once I might grow impatient with the balance stuff and try and get a balance, or try and get it like something with a half ounce inload, 28 with a half or a 27 with a half, something really smooth, and go with that play. Like right now, this Ironman Genesis, excuse me, hang on just a second. This Ironman Genesis is what I'm swinging, and the Louisville is the one piece Louisville is definitely like got me wondering. I wonder if I should switch, but I feel like that's honestly again the one piece bias there, the mentality with the one piece bat as well. But it's an inload and it's just so smooth. It's super smooth. I will say like it's like a lighter half, which I did mention that in the video. It's like a lighter half ounce, but it's kind of that inload that you can control and do whatever you want with and still just crush a ball with it. I'm going to be sending that out to Big Ben BP, and then it can make its rounds there. If, we got some other guys that want to get some swings on it as well, then we can definitely send it out to them and let them get some swings in on it too, just to try and, let everybody see what the hype is about with them. I think it's a great bat. I really do. I wish we would have had more time to hit it. I'm actually honestly probably going to post another video of me swinging that. I would like to do it before I send it out, just in case something does happen to it while it's out. I honestly doubt it does, because Louisvilles are just tanks when it comes to durability. But just on the off chance that something, some freak thing does happen with it, or it gets lost in the mail or whatever else, I need to get all my content done with it, and then I'm good with sending it out. So I'm hoping to get that action in this weekend, because I didn't want to be done swinging it the day we were swinging it. I want to be able to get some more swings on it. And I was just about to the point where I wanted to kind of let the big dog eat a little bit and see, like, what kind of distance can we dial up with this thing? Because it was just getting to the point where it was like, all right, this thing's popping. It's starting to hit. And then it's like, well, if you want to stand out here in the rain and pick up balls, you can, but we need to get moving. So, yeah, there's that. I do think one-piece bats are the new wave. And I think the heavier they are, the better they're going to be, obviously within reason. But I think a 27 with a half or a full and a one-piece is the play right now if you're needing something that can just hit a ball as far as you can. If you're looking for every last little bit of performance, it's a one-piece, 27 with a half or a full, because obviously they don't make 28s anywhere anymore. And 28 can be a bit more to chew off if you I know I just preached like swinging a heavy bat, but 28s aren't for everybody. I will say that. Unless you're extremely athletic or you're a fairly strong dude, maybe 28's not the play. You could, but by all means, you should still be swinging a 27. And please, nobody take offense to me saying, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not attacking anybody by saying 24, 25, 26 ounce. I mean, there's people that could hit circles around me swinging all that stuff. But I think they would be better hitters if they swung something heavier. I don't know what else to tell you. I'd look anybody dead in the eye and tell them that. I'm going to catch up with the chat here, and then we're probably going to bounce. Almost an hour live already. We still got to get our post-podcast gaming session in. So let's see, where we at? Jason says, haven't found a good one-piece bat that I like yet. Still prefer the two-piece, the old Michael one-pieces. I didn't mind at all. Yeah, and maybe they need to kind of dabble back into that. I honestly do think that if you're going to swing, if you want a one-piece feel but a two-piece bat, Louisville's the play, 100%. And I also think, speaking of stiffer handles and stuff like that, and more of the feel, I think alloy handles are also a play when it comes to two-piece bats. I think alloy handles are something that more companies should definitely explore. Not necessarily like thinking again, just it's going to be like this game changer in performance. But what do we know about a lot of people in hitting 52s? It's about sound, right? I think that aluminum handles, aluminum, alloy, whatever you want to call them, I think they have a better sound to them. I think you could take the same barrel and put it on, take it off a composite handle and put it on an alloy handle, and it's going to sound better. It's probably going to hit the same, questionably a little bit better, again, because it's the one-piece versus two-piece thing. But sound is a big thing with a lot of people, and it can be myself included at times. And alloy handles do sound better, in my opinion. So that's also something I wish more companies would explore, and I've also kind of pushed that propaganda to a bat company a little bit as well, and I got shut down pretty quick. Jeremy says, who needs bat performance if it has a stamp? The ball will come off 100 miles an hour. Just swing whatever's comfortable. Yeah, I 100% agree. You should still swing whatever you're comfortable with, but if I can hit 102 with a one-piece bat and 100 with a two-piece bat, So Jason says back in the day, also made was one-piece bats. But with the tech improvement, two pieces were just outperforming the one pieces, but the tide may have turned. It's hard to say. And I think a big thing is feedback. I think a lot of it comes down to feedback. It's so easy, like swinging. I'm coming from a guy that swung a D2E Psycho for years. If you can just have a 14-inch barrel, I mean, it's like if you've hit a D2E Psycho, it's like the barrel's like this big. I can't even get my hands in the camera. The barrel on it feels humongous. You just can't miss with it. And then you give me a two-piece where it's going to soak some of the bad feedback up too. Yeah, of course I'm going to swing that. I think it all just comes down to preference of feedback and people I won't say not wanting to earn a hit, but they don't want the bad feedback. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You want to be a good ball striker? Go buy like a 2013, 2014 Easton one-piece and go swing it in the wintertime. You'll learn how to live on a barrel real fast. And that's, I'm joking, but that's honestly the God's honest truth too. Jason says, got you thinking back up to a 27 or 28 ounce inventory is still available as well. Yeah, I'm telling you, buy it and try it and stick to it for a while. Yeah, Eric says the lighter bats, there's no force behind the swing sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. And like there's certain outliers where a lighter bat, it just doesn't matter even in the 240 space. If you're somebody like Flip Washington, to my knowledge, he's still gaming a 25-ounce bat. But look, dude, the dude is a freak. Okay, there's also that outlier of it doesn't matter. If you're that good, it does not matter what's in your hands. But for somebody that's at my level, the average Joe, trying to be competitive, you give yourself every advantage you can. What's up, Softball Paul? How you doing, pal? Eric says when he plays seniors, you notice some of the guys swinging the heavier bats. Yeah, and I think that's two things. I think one of it is some of the seniors were stuck in their old ways. They used to swing the 28s and 30s, right? And I think another part of it is the seniors definitely can benefit from a heavier bat. I do wonder, I'm obviously not in those shoes, and hopefully I'm still playing the game when I'm at that age. You got some of the older guys, I'll say, guys in their 60s and 70s, trying to swing these 20, 25, and 26-ounce bats. To me, if you've got a slower swing speed, you should be swinging something a little bit heavier to kind of give yourself a little bit of a help with the mass. Even if it's going to cost you a little bit of swing speed, yes, but I feel like the mass offsets the loss of swing speed. But, I'm not in those shoes. Like I said, hopefully I'm still playing to find that out. But and that should apply to anything in general. You're worried about bat speed. People are so worried about bat speed, so worried about it. But I would rather lose a little bit of bat speed and have a little bit more ass to hit a ball than I would just swinging something as just belligerently hard as I can. Because you got to think, the faster something's going, the harder it is to control too. So if you're swinging this 25-ounce bat just completely out of your ass, what if you swung a 27 and just backed off a little bit? Something to think about. Adam says it also depends on your swing. A push swing will not like a flexi handle. So being someone that doesn't push a ball a ton. I can't touch on that. I think what that comes down to is ability to strike a ball consistently at that. Because I've seen guys swing like stuff like juggies and just go line to line with them. But I think that's again a preference thing. Like you don't have miss room. You feel like you don't have miss room with that really flexy handle. Because if you're pushing a bat or if you're really trying to spray the ball around, there's a decent chance you're not striking the barrel in the same spot every time. Like as if I was to pull a ball, I bet I could hit the same smaller spot on a barrel a lot more consistently than I could if I was trying to work a ball around the field. I'm probably going to live on the whole barrel as opposed to one smaller spot. So I feel like maybe that's why the flexier handles do kind of mess with the guys that have the push swing a little bit. It's just there's not as much forgiveness in there. The Anarchy Streets and them over One Piece, yeah. One Piece and ASA would work, absolutely. The One Piece Nation, help me out on that, Chris. One Piece bats are better, less to worry about breaking, and cheaper to fabricate. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. The Iron Man is just different. Yeah, it's absolutely different. How can a balanced bat hit like an inload? I don't get it. Did I see the new Candy Cane LS model that just came out? It's a Canada model. Yeah, it looks pretty dope. It does trust me, I'm sure they feel the same way when they can't get our exclusives. But I always see those bats. I'm like, man, why can't I get that? Honestly, I would like to try and find a way to try out some of those bats too. We got Canadian viewers. Our Canadian, every Canadian is nice anyway, but the Canadian viewers are always so good to us. So like maybe I just need to make a trip to Canada and just go swing all their exclusives sometime. Jason says now he just wants a bat that looks like a number 2 pencil. Yeah, ain't that wild? There's a number 2 pencil, and what was the other one? I think Bryce Harper had it. So dope. So Rodrigo says it seems like alloy handles and stiff handles are the compromise for a 2-piece bat with 1-piece performance. Yeah, for sure. John, I as well would love to see Pure come out with a 1-piece bat. I think it's in the works. I think it's just like Chris really takes a lot of pride in testing something out before he sends it out. And I would say that he's probably just in that phase of things where he's trying to make sure that it's going to be something that he's confident in standing behind. I do feel like some bat companies are like, this is close, just get it out the door in order to meet a deadline or try and get out with the other competitors. I do feel like that has happened. I do feel like there's times where a bat comes out and it's like, this thing's a freaking turd. Like, who thought, send this one out? I think that's a thing. I think that has definitely happened from time to time, but Chris is not going to let that happen. He is not going to let that happen. So I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. He's going to take his time doing it, and he's going to do it right. Best short barrel ASA bat with a donkey inload. Now, telling on myself here, I haven't swung a ton of ASA bats over the last couple of years. The first thing that comes to mind for me is like the Anarchy Odin or the Anarchy 22 a day from a couple of years ago. The Pure Hellfire, the Pure ASA Tech is nasty. It's just nasty. It's just dumb. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. But I can't think of anything that has like a really like sledgy inload in it that I would recommend as far as like a great big inload. I do know there are some monsters as well, like the Bombardier. I said all three of them. One of them are right. That was the one that had a pretty juicy inload in it. That was one that I got it in a 27. I tried to get a bat with the specs that I liked to give it the best chance to like that bat, and I did. But honestly, I could have stood to go down to a 26 because I have figured out that over time, most of the monsters just run heavy. No swill. We'll do trade exclusive for exclusive. That's a Canadian talking right there. So the LS Marsh Burner is a full ounce. See, I forget about the Louisville, and sorry if there's any Louisville guys in here, but the Louisville stuff, ASA stuff is okay. I mean, it's definitely not terrible, but I wouldn't consider it like top tier, like Monster or Pure or Anarchy or anything like that. But it's definitely presentable, I'll say. Is that the right word for a situation like this? Like if I liked Louisville and like I could swing that bat and I was like, damn, this thing's good. And I feel like I could be confident with it, I would swing it. But again, so there's times where I will take being comfortable with something over every last little bit of performance I can get. Hence why I swing a U-Trip bat in my ASA league most of the time. Outside of the fact that this pure ASA tech is just so good right now that I'm going to swing it. The Sidewinder is the only short barrel Pure has for ASA. It's hard to find now. Yeah, and that's kind of why even the Sidewinder is a short barrel, but it doesn't have like a huge inload in it. You know, like something that's like if I want something with a full ounce, I want to know there's a full ounce in the end of that bat. Okay. Yeah, John, that's a good way to say it. It gets the job done. Worth Creature had a heavy inload. Yeah, I would like to be able to try some of the Worth and Mike and ASA stuff out. Just, you can only do so much. It seemed like the senior reviews do better at times than the ASA stuff. But I'm working on it. We're going to work on some stuff over the wintertime to hopefully get us in a better position to at least be able to review every company's we'll say like benchmark bat. Is that what you want to say? Like the go-to bats, you know, because Worth and Mike and just looking at like some of the numbers that are on the channel, especially over the years, no matter what, where they stand performance-wise, Worth and Mike can always do well on the channel. Easton's another one, because it's a household name. You know, you can get it at a lot of retailers, even in-store retailers, brick-and-mortar retailers. You can get that stuff there, and I think that's why they also do so well. Because I mean, you can't walk into Dick's Sporting Goods, you can't walk into Academy Sports and buy a Pure. You can't walk into Academy Sports and buy a Juno. You can't walk into Dick's Sporting Goods and buy a Proton. You know, so it's like people sometimes want to buy stuff from a retailer. They want to see it in their hands before they buy it. So having them at your big box stores is going to be the way to do that. Look at Deadly. They have a bat with a 2-ounce inload. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Rims and Tim says, a shock there's no JR9 ASA bat. I do think that ASA definitely has more of a science behind it when it comes to an inload. I do feel like you get too heavy with the inload, then it kind of gets weird. So let's talk about that real quick. Bonus topic here, and then I'm shutting this down. Because I kind of made a hint at this in the unboxing video of the Pure Evil, and then never really touched on it in the review itself because I realized the review wasn't long enough for me to get on that, and I just didn't. And I thought about saving this for another podcast, but it's here, and then we're talking about bat specs and what I feel like is the best anyway. And John is here, Adam's here. We've got some guys that swing some ASA bats in the chat here, so I want you to tell me what you think as well, because I'm tinfoil hat back on. So I do feel like that at times. What's up, Snacks? How you doing? Put your tinfoil hat on before you do anything. You done missed a bunch, but we're getting ready to put the tinfoil hat back on and get to town here. And you are another person that I feel like could weigh in on this, and you've got the bat that kind of makes me think that. And the one of, anyway. Jason says a lot. Yeah, we're unboxing a lot here. We got a lot to unpack. I'm gonna unpack this one last thing, and then I'm shutting it down, and we're going to play Fortnite. So I feel like when it comes to ASA bats with like an inner barrel technology, that the balance stuff hits better. But I feel that way for certain reasons. I need to get bats with similar specs that come in inload and balanced and really put this theory to the test. I think a lot of it has to do with maybe how hard you swing the bat. We kind of talked about how some of that stuff can play a factor in the 240s. I think it's even more of a factor in the ASA bats because I've hit some ASA bats that are balanced and even some that are mid-loaded, and I'm like, this thing is nuts. and then I swing an in-loaded version that's close to the same specs, and it's like, I was all right. Like, you just don't feel like you get the same barrel response. You don't feel like you get the same, I don't know, man. Something about, like, I'm just going to use Snacks. What year is that bat? The 2021 Worth EST balanced. I'm swinging a balanced ASA bat right now. I feel like that if you swing hard, you got to draw the line somewhere. Where the line is drawn, I can't tell you that. But if you've got a certain swing speed, if you'll say, well, we'll consider you, let's say, high D level, low C level type of hitter, you're going to do better with something that is balanced as far as getting like the most out of your results. You swing hard enough that you get that tech to perform. You get that tech to react the way it needs to. I feel like almost with a high swing speed and an inload, it makes the tech overreact. Like, because the inload obviously is pushing the mass through the ball, right? So when it's pushing the mass through the ball, it's compressing the barrel more. Well, what if the barrel is compressing so far that it's making the tech react too much? That's why sometimes swinging a Monster, it just is a prime example of, like, I call them 80% bats. You could just flick your hands at it and hit it just as hard as if you took a full swing. And that's kind of what, like, gets you thinking about that a little bit. Like, I would like to be able to take, I mean, the bats do it with to be like a Worth Primo, a Mike and Primo, because they comes in a full ounce, I believe, and they also make balanced ones as well. I do feel like the bigger barrels, Matthew said the same thing. On the longer barrels, yeah, absolutely on the longer barrels, the balance is better. Now, as far as a short barrel and an inload goes, that's a good theory. I would like to entertain that. Maybe the size of the inner barrel tech is more rigid because the barrel is shorter, so it can take more. That's a good theory. I like that. But I'm telling you, something just seems different about a balanced bat in ASA when it comes to, like, inner barrel tech. I'm just telling you, like, it's just wild to me. Like, when I remember when I made the Worth EST that Snacks has, the number one bat for ASA, it's like, I can't believe I'm doing that. But they're just different. Every one of them I hit has been like, damn, this thing is good. And then you swing the inload to one and like, okay, it was all right, but it could have been better. I think a high swing speed combined with an inload makes that inner barrel technology overreact. And I think that's also why Carl won't make, like, somebody made a comment, I saw it earlier about the mid-loads and monsters. I think that's why he won't mess with an inload and some stuff sometimes, because he knows it won't perform. The mid-load might be like you're tiptoeing the edge. Maybe he's got the secret there. Obviously not some kind of secret. I mean, anybody can figure this stuff out, but maybe he mid-loads that stuff because he's found the fine line of, like, all right, I can get this much in here and I can put it here, but if I put it in the end, then it's going to make the inner tech overreact. And what I say about overreact is basically like you need the trampoline effect anyway, but once you get to the point of, like, too much trampoline, or maybe the outer barrel hits the inner barrel too hard, or maybe, oh, it's the dog. Sorry. I think there's something to that. Monster can't go heavier or they won't pass testing for certification. Yeah, and that is true. That is also true. But in the inloads, though, like, so to my understanding, when they test bats, they shoot a ball at the bat. I could be wrong, but they shoot a ball at the bat, and then I'm trying to think of the way I want to explain this. And the bat has to react a certain way, I believe. I would like to get into a testing facility and see how that stuff works. And for the record, when all the Suncoast and Juno stuff was going on, I tried email. I did some super sleuthing, and I found out who tests bats for U-Trip, and I tried to get them to speak on the matter, and they didn't even reply to my email. I didn't expect them to, because think of, like, the legal shitstorm that could have opened up. But I tried to get them to speak on it, and they weren't having it. They just shut it down. But it kind of goes back to, yeah, just like Snack said, Kind of like how the juggies didn't perform as well when they were heavier. They dumbed them down because they wouldn't pass tinfoil. Yeah, dude. So I'm telling you, if anybody here is swinging a juggie, then you know, swing a 26 or a 27 ounce juggie, they're gas. Or even like specifically talking J3A, because I got a 28 one time thinking like, oh yeah, those things are good, but I want a 28. It was awful. I mean, it was like U-trip bat, not even a good U-trip bat. Like the level of performance we got of these things. And that's kind of like, again, with the, did you just not do your homework, DeMarini? Did you not realize that they weren't going to be good in a 28, or the variation of the barrel you made for the 28 just wasn't as good, or were you in a rush to get something out the door? Because if I'm a bat company and like that's what I had to make for a 28 ounce, I wouldn't even sell it to anybody. Like we had one time that we were hitting like in the cold, we were hitting essentially stadium balls with a 28 ounce ASA juggie, and still couldn't hit a ball out of a baseball field. And if you've hit a hard ball with a juggie, then you know shit gets wild. It gets wild. And the fact that we couldn't even hit a stadium ball out in the cold, and then picked up, just an old Easton or something like that, some kind of old BP bat, and just started blowing them out of the baseball field like that, should tell you like something's different here. So there's got to be something to, excuse me, there's got to be something to this ASA tech and lower swing speeds and inloads working well, and then a higher swing speed and a balance bat working well. I need to maybe talk with a couple of bat companies. Maybe they'll try to open up on that a little bit. I don't really know where to go as far as like getting hard facts on this. I do want to try and get a couple of primos inload and balanced in the same weight, and try to do a little bit of experiment of my own with the radar and things like that. But that's, a good chunk of change for two bats just to test out some bro science. But I there's got to be something there. And that's why I also went with a balanced bat for my ASA bat from Evil, is because, one, I'm swinging a balanced bat for U-trip. You're trying to keep all your specs the same. And I've preached for years, hitting an ASA ball, you want something heavy and inloaded. But this inner barrel tech changes a lot of things. If it was just a standard, what do you call it, linear barrel, I guess, a standard linear barrel, lots of words on here that we're getting clarification on tonight. If it was just a standard barrel like that, like a juggy or like some of the old stuff, yeah, you want something heavy and you want something inloaded because you need that ball to move. But when it comes to the tech working for you, the barrel tech working for you to hit the ball, it does kind of change things. So that's science with the BP Hero for tonight. My ears are smoking trying to explain that and make sure it made sense. It still might not have. I'm going to catch up with the chat here, and then we're checking out of here. Because if this camera was better, you would see the smoke rolling out of my ears trying to explain that and make sure it made sense, and it probably still didn't. But essentially, if you swing hard and you play ASA, you should swing a balance bat. I would like to test this theory, though, like Matthew said, with the longer barrels, the balance is king, and the short barrel inload is life. That I do like that theory, and I kind of touched on why, like maybe the shorter barrel is more rigid, so it can take more of an impact. I like that theory. So John says it's like the OGZ 1000 bats. If you swung easier, the ball would explode off the barrel, full swing, and it would engage the restrictor and make it feel like a dud. Yeah, and see, hey, that was another one. So I remember years ago, there was a guy. There was two guys on the same team that had one. One of them got an inload, one of them got a balance because they were inload and balance guys. And dude, the balance one was just, dude. I didn't think those things were all that great. You're talking Z1000, I'm talking Z2000. Same idea behind the tech. Because the ASA Z2000s were not any good either, unless it was balanced. The balanced one was noticeably better than the inload. Maybe there's something to it here. John says it's what he calls Monster. I call them the great equalizer too. They make shitty hitters look amazing. You said it, not me. Yes, Snacks, you are right. Someone said no JR9. Yeah, Josh Riley for ASA. The Chaos was his ASA bat. Yeah, that's right. John, see, now John's thinking. Now I got John thinking about swinging more balance ASA bats. Oh, let's see. Washington State is who tests ASA bats. Okay. That's definitely not who tests the U-Trip bats. Adam says adding a flexi handle in the mix will change things. Believe it or not, the flexi handles are harder to pass testing. I believe that. Maybe that handle is soaking up some of the impact. I like that. We're getting somewhere. I actually kind of dig that theory. What size tantrum would you recommend? Usually swing at 25. Definitely don't go up too far. They swing kind of loggy. That was my really only complaint with it. Was it just like had a loggy feel to it? The longer barrel, I'll say, than what I was expecting, and just the way that it was loaded, like it just sometimes it didn't want to come around, but boy, when it did. But even when it didn't come around, like it was still just shitting on the ball, and that's kind of why I said that's what makes it a game changer. Is its ability to consistently hit a ball hard, no matter what kind of swing you take at it. It's kind of like U-Trip's Monster. Yeah, it's like that in between of like, it's just Snacks just said it. I would go down an ounce. Yeah, it's that weird in between of like, do you go down an ounce or do you just deal with it? I'm not sure that going down an ounce would fix it. It would just feel lighter and still loggy. John says to say it all day long, dude. Hey, being in an ASA, playing primarily ASA around here, I can tell you, you are right. Yeah, so Cousin Eddie says, finally someone nailed hitting a 52 with an ASA bat. If you swing hard and have a high-tech barrel, sometimes it works against you. I have a DeMarini uprising, no tech. And I love the way the ball comes off. Yeah, so like something like a Mercy or a Juggy, dude, swing out of your ass with that thing because it's gonna hit good. But listen, we got deep into this podcast. 50 minutes ago, I said I was going to talk for a little bit longer, and then we're going to go play video games. I'm still going to play video games. So if you into watching video games or you need a good laugh, or hell, I'll even continue this discussion over there. I just got to wrap up the podcast now so I can go play video games. We're going to be live over at Hanging with the Hero. Even if I just play with myself, I don't care. Wait, that didn't sound right. What? So Hanging with the Heroes, my other YouTube channel, just kind of post some random stuff on there sometimes, and I do like to post our games for people to, video games for people to watch because we are idiots and we're not good and we like to laugh at each other and pick on each other. So we do it over there. So I'm going to shut this down here. About a 10-minute intermission, and then we'll go play some video games for a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Matthew says no toxicity this week. We'll see. I'll be the judge of that, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Season 8, episode number 6, Firing from the Hip. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero. Oh, God, words are so hard tonight. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero. Catch you next time.